A painting of a crying boy caused devastating fires in several houses across post-war England. And a Dybbuk box bought from an ordinary yard sale haunted every person who ever owned it. Can cursed objects really bring misfortune to their owners? Or is it all in our minds? Welcome to the first episode of Unnatural, where we explore and explain the mysteries and legends of the paranormal world. In the 1960s and 70s, an Italian artist, Giovanni Bragolin, created a painting of a crying little boy. This supposedly ordinary painting was part of portraits of orphans and street children that Giovanni Bragolin created, hoping to evoke sympathy from the viewers. But this particular painting, The Crying Boy, had a different effect. It seemed to bring bad luck and disaster to those who hung it on their walls. In several cases, houses and all the artifacts in them were burnt to the ground. Yet, the Crying Boy painting always remained unscathed. The firefighters who witnessed many of these cases started to wonder if the painting had something to do with the growing incidence of house fires. Was the painting cursed? One of the first reported cases of the Crying Boy painting curse was in 1985, when a British tabloid newspaper, The Sun, published a story about a couple who lost their home in a fire. The report claimed that Yorkshire firefighters had observed that undamaged copies of the Crying Boy painting were frequently found amidst the ruins of burned houses. One report even claimed that a victim of this mysterious painting reported that the painting was literally the only thing that survived in their completely burned down house, and that they, too, had bought it from a previous owner who had also experienced a similar fire. A caller on a British radio show, Dora Mann, claimed, "Only 6 months after I had bought the picture, my house was completely gutted by fire. All my paintings were destroyed, except the one of the crying boy." These stories sparked a wave of panic, as more and more people came forward with similar stories. Some even claimed that the painting's misfortune went beyond just causing fires. It also caused mysterious accidents, unexplained illnesses, and even deaths. By December 1985, just 4 months into the reports, belief in the painting's curse became so widespread that the Sun newspaper offered to destroy any copies of paintings. In days, they had received hundreds of them, that they began organizing bonfires to burn the cursed Crying Boy painting. But why was the painting so cursed, and who was the boy in it? One of the leading explanations at the time was that the painting represented a traumatized spirit that had suffered immensely when they were alive. Now that they are dead, the only way to show their hatred for this evil world was to inflict pain on the living. And he did this by causing fires. But there was absolutely no agreement on what caused the boy's trauma. For example, one explanation was that the boy was an orphan who witnessed his parents die in a fire. And because of this traumatizing experience, the boy, or the boy's spirit, which was now living in this painting, just starts fires wherever it goes. Another was that the boy was a child actor who played the role of a crying boy in a film, and that he died in a car crash shortly after. But up to date, we do not know what film this boy featured in. A third explanation was that the boy was a model for the artist, who abused him and made him cry for the painting. If that were true, we would have known about this boy, his parents, or just someone who could testify to the relationship between the boy and Giovanni, the Italian painter. If all of these cannot be justified, then what is it? Is there a rational explanation for the painting's survival during the fires? Or, even more surprisingly, why didn't they just ask Giovanni Bragolin, the painter, about this painting? In 2010, an investigation by Punt PI, a comedy show that aired on BBC Radio, provided some answers to this mystery. Or did they? The publication explained that the prints were coated with some varnish containing fire repellent known as Crystallon. In addition, the string holding the painting to the wall would be the first to perish, resulting in the painting landing face down on the floor and thus being protected. Despite this, questions still remain. For instance, is that the only painting with such material? Why aren't the other paintings behaving the same way? And why did it seem that the fires only occurred in houses where the painting was hung? This is what I think. As you may know by now, Giovanni Bragolin wasn't particularly a famous painter, so although many of his paintings were very attractive, he sold them at relatively affordable rates. This meant his paintings, including The Crying Boy, were common. And because of this, there was a high likelihood that some of the burnt houses would contain this painting. As for why there is no mention of anyone interviewing Giovanni Bragolin about the cursed painting, it happened that Giovanni died just 3 years before the reports of the fires started. So, no one could verify any of these stories about the history of the painting. It may be easy to call off the Crying Boy's painting as a coincidence or mere superstition, but what explains why a mystery box bought during an ordinary yard sale would begin to break antiques, cause stroke and paralysis, destroy electronic equipment, and physically attack its owners in broad daylight? Welcome to the story of the Dybbuk box, the most haunted object in the world. The Dybbuk box is a wine cabinet that was supposedly haunted by a Dybbuk, a malicious spirit from Jewish folklore that can possess the living. The word Dybbuk means attachment or clinging in Hebrew, and it refers to a soul that has not found peace and tries to attach itself to a human host. According to Jewish tradition, a Dybbuk can be exorcised by a rabbi through a ritual called Shirat HaDibbuk, or the Song of the Dybbuk. The story of the Dybbuk box began in 2003 when Kevin Mannis, a writer and furniture refinisher, bought the cabinet from a yard sale in Portland, Oregon. He claimed the cabinet was previously owned by a Holocaust survivor named Havela, who escaped Nazi-occupied Poland and brought the box with her to the US. He also claimed the cabinet contained a Dybbuk, and that the box had paranormal powers and was responsible for his bad luck and nightmares. He decided to sell the cabinet on eBay. The cabinet changed hands several times, each time with new claims of paranormal activity and curses. The first buyer was a college student named Iosif Nitsky, who said he experienced strange smells, noises, and visions after opening the box. He sold it to Jason Haxton, who said he suffered from health problems such as hives, coughing blood, and head-to-toe welts. He also said he saw shadowy figures, felt cold spots, and heard whispers. The third buyer was a museum director named Zach Bagans, who was also the host of a TV show called Ghost Adventures. He wanted to display the box in his museum in Las Vegas and test its powers. After he opened the box, he felt a burning sensation in his chest as if something was trying to get out. He also witnessed paranormal activity, such as objects moving, doors slamming, and voices whispering. He decided to seal the box in a glass case and keep it away from the public. He also installed a warning sign that read, "Do not touch, do not open, do not look." In 2018, a rapper named Post Malone, who was a friend of Bagans, visited the museum and touched the box despite the warning. After touching the box, he experienced a series of bad luck, such as a car accident, a plane malfunction, a home invasion, and a lawsuit. He came out to confirm that he believed he was cursed by the box. He said he contacted a rabbi and a medium, and performed a cleansing ritual, and hoped the curse was lifted. So, what is the truth behind the Dybbuk box? Is it really haunted by a demon, or is it just a hoax? Well, the answer is, it's a hoax. In 2021, Kevin Mannis, the original seller of the box, told Input magazine that he made up the whole story and that the cabinet was just a regular piece of furniture. He said he did it for fun and entertainment, and did not expect it to become such a phenomenon. He also said he regrets the harm and confusion he caused to some people who believed in the story. He explained that he bought the cabinet from a local attorney, not a Holocaust survivor, and that he carved the Hebrew words and the prayer on the back of it himself. He kept all the items inside the box, such as the pennies, the hair, and the cup, to make it look more interesting. He created the story of the Dybbuk based on his own imagination and research, and he used it as a marketing strategy to sell the box on eBay. But why did the buyers react that way? Why did they experience paranormal activity and curses? Well, one possible explanation is the power of suggestion. The power of suggestion is the psychological phenomenon where a person's thoughts, feelings, or actions are influenced by another person's words, ideas, or expectations. For example, if someone tells you that you are sick, you might start to feel sick, even if you are not. Or, if someone tells you that you are lucky, you might start to feel lucky, even if you are not. The power of suggestion can work both positively and negatively, depending on the message and the context. In the case of the Dybbuk box, The power of suggestion might have played a role in making the buyers believe that they were haunted by a demon. They might have read or heard Kevin's story and expected to experience something supernatural. They might have also been influenced by the media, such as the movie, the podcast, or the YouTube video, that portrayed the box as a terrifying and dangerous object. They might have also been affected by their own emotions, such as curiosity, fear, or excitement, that made them more susceptible to suggestion, or their own beliefs, such as their religion, their culture, or their superstition, that made them more open to the possibility of the paranormal. All these factors might have combined to create a self-fulfilling prophecy, where the buyers experienced what they expected to experience and attributed it to the box. Of course, this is not the only possible explanation. There might be other factors that contributed to the buyer's reactions, such as coincidence, confirmation bias, placebo effect, or even real paranormal activity. But the power of suggestion is a plausible and scientific explanation that can account for many of the phenomena that the buyers reported. So, there you have it. The Dybbuk box is a paranormal hoax that became an internet legend. It is an example of how a simple story can become a sensation on the web, and how people can be fascinated by the unknown and the supernatural. If you enjoyed today's story, please share the video and subscribe to my channel. I research, write the scripts, and edit the videos all by myself, so your support will go a long way. Thanks for watching.